So what's inside the source folder? Well, first of all, we have some assets. Right now there's not a lot in here, but that could be your images that you need for your page. We have environments. Right now we have a production environment, and right now it's very simple configuration right here. We also have a test environment like this, and right now it's not set for anything, but you could start adding information in here where you kind of show difference between the test environment or the dev environment and the production environment. So you could add information about the environments right here. You have an index.html file. This is the HTML page that launches it all, right? So this is plain simple HTML. The only thing you should notice is we put in something called app root here, and that's actually where the Angular application starts. This is where the Angular application takes over. All of this is just plain old HTML like we already everybody knows how to use. But this right here, the app root, that's where the Angular application starts. So we'll get into that later. But this is just, again, a simple index.html file, just like you would create for any web page. Main.ts file. Now here we start working with actually the first TypeScript. Every time you see .ts in a file, that's a TypeScript file. And this is just kind of the main environment to start everything right here. And we bootstrap our first module right here, which is the app module. And again, I'll get into most of this, so don't worry about it. But this is kind of the launching file, if you want to use that term. For instance, if it was C#, it would probably be the file with the main method in, just like that's why they use the name main, right? The polyfills, that's a file for us to make ourselves compatible with older browsers. I think that's the easiest way to explain that. Polyfill is to help us be compatible with older browsers. Again, you can go read about it if you want to. Style CSS, that's going to be our style file if you want to have some global styling. So the CSS file, maybe you want to add the same color to every page, you could put that in this guy right here. So I'm going to skip the last four for now. Let's get back to them if we need them. They're really not important until we start making some pretty complex configuration. Now, test file right here, and the rest is configuration. So let's try and open the app one here. So what is in here? That's actually your application. This is where we're going to build our source code. The rest is just helper, right? That's all that helps us build the Angular application, files that need to configure our Angular application, stuff like that. But here you guys are actually going to write the source code. So that's where you're going to spend most of your time. And what do we have in here? Well, we have first of all what we call a module, and I'll explain a module later, but that's kind of the guy that starts everything for us. That's kind of we can have multiple modules, and a module would be part of an application, right? So it could be an entire section, like the entire customer section, or the entire order section, or in our case, it's just going to be the entire application. This guy is going to be the only module we're going to have, but you could kind of make smaller modules that could work together and stuff like that. If we go one step up here, we have the component. Now that's what we're going to work with for a single component inside the module. So now we can start breaking down our module into small components that together will make the module, right? We're going to look at this later. The component spec file is actually a test file. Not going to touch that right now. HTML file is it says itself, right? The HTML for this component. So each component has kind of a file here that can work with data for us, deliver data for us, and it's going to bind data for us to a UI. Then we have a UI file that can kind of present the data for us, right? So this is the place where you write the HTML code to present it. And then we have a CSS file that can kind of style the specific component right here, the specific HTML file right here. All of this will make sense as we start building our own components later, but now you kind of have an overview of all the files available right here. So let's actually start working with the components in the next lesson. See you next.